Hi, I'm Susan DeSylvia with Pro Horse Productions, and I'm so excited today to be here with Steve Mantle. And Brad, don't you run off. Come over here. You're organizing. Absolutely.
Okay.
This is the man from
We'll do this together.
Yes, this is the man from the BLM who is helping organize this event. And we have Steve here who's been contracted to provide these beautiful Mustangs behind me. For the last 24 years you've been doing this. So every Mustang that's going to be auctioned today is from your facility.
Correct.
Awesome. So I was asking you off camera, what's one thing you really wish people understood before they adopted a Mustang?
That there's a commitment involved, that you can't just get one. It's not like a parakeet or a house cat or something. There's a big commitment to make to the horse and to yourself, whether that be additional training, going to a trainer, or just getting help. But if you leave the ego at home, you'll get along really good with the horses.
I love that. You want to focus on your partnership that you have with this horse. Because just because you've created this partnership with that horse doesn't mean it's a motorcycle that you put in your key and you turn it and you have the same relationship, or you have the same things that you're going to see today from those that have handled these Mustangs.
Right. And what I tell people is, when you adopt one of these from this event, take it home and start it over like it's untouched, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at how fast it comes along, because these horses know our touch, our smell, our feel, you know, how much we pull on the rope, how much we don't, how much we squeeze with our legs, whatever. But they don't know yours and they don't know Brad's, so they need to learn that as being your horse, because I haven't found anybody yet who's willing to take me home.
You know what? I bet you have lots of people who are to take you home, but that's not what today is all about. So today is about finding wonderful, suitable homes. So in your experience with these adoption events, it's an auction today, right?
Correct.
So are they actually purchasing this horse, or is it still owned by the BLM?
It's an adoption, so it's still owned by the BLM.
An adoption. So the BLM takes the checks.
Yep, and so you get the horse for a year. The BLM's going to show up. We're going to inspect the horse once or twice. And after 1 year, as long as the horse is good, horse is happy, you're happy, you get title to the horse and it becomes yours outright.
Super.
After you adopt a horse, there's a 1 year period. The BLM's going to come out. They're going to check in on the horse, check in on you, make sure everything's good to go. And after the horse is healthy and you're happy, after 1 year, you get title to the horse and it becomes yours.
Fantastic. So the adoption auction today, what's the highest prices you've seen horses auctioned off?
Ooh, here?
Yeah.
Was it $5-6 grand? I think we've seen some of the kind of advanced saddle started horses over the years go for that. Bidding starts at 125 and goes from there. It's a pretty big window that you have there. So some of them will go for a couple hundred, some of them go for a couple thousand. We'll have to stay and see.
Steve, do all the horses have the same start? Have you had them the same amount of time, like in the Extreme Mustang competitions? Everyone's had the same amount of time. Or have you had some of these Mustangs today longer than others?
Yeah, no, they don't all have the same start. In fact, we have one here that this is like day 38.
Okay.
We had a horse that didn't make it, so this was his replacement, but he was kind of an exceptional little guy. We call him Benjamin, and he's almost caught up with everyone else. We have a couple that got started last January, and then just circumstances happened and they didn't get adopted, so we just kept them for this event. Some of them have been 60 days, some of them 45, some of them 90. You know, it's just all different stages.
So you shared what some things you really wish people understood about Mustangs is that they need to take time with them and build a relationship and keep going with them. They can't just pick it up and stick it in their garage and hope it's going to be the same horse. What are some of the advantages of adopting a Mustang compared to maybe the domestic horses that you've worked with?
Well, these guys are hardy. They're self-reliant. You can take these little guys, and when they bond to you, it's for life. I mean, they will really hook on to you and stay with you. I used a lot of these horses over the years, packing elk, guiding hunters, taking in hunting camps. I rode one of these guys for 19 years. I just retired him. He was 23 a year ago. But I did everything on him. I went to the neighbors' brandings. I team sorted on him. I team penned on him. The only thing I couldn't do was head on him because he was a little bit slow.
And when you say the only thing you couldn't do head on him, help the people who don't know what that is.
Oh, I couldn't rope steers.
All
I couldn't
right.
head steers on him.
Capture the front end.
Didn't have the speed to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, there's so many different ways to enjoy horses, so some people may not know
Yep,
that
trail
language.
riding. I mean, we adopt probably the bigger share of these horses to people for trail riding. We adopt a few to outfitters, not that many.
Well, the BLM, the BLM has adopted some out to like the Border Patrol. They've used them. The Forest Service uses these. Again, like Steve was mentioning, you want to go backcountry, this is the animal for you, really. So,
No better horse
Yeah,
We
to
just
ride
adopted
backcountry.
one to the Fort Carson Color Guard.
Yep.
Nice.
I think there's been a few. I think I saw one who was adopted and is now a New York City police officer horse.
Wow.
So yeah, they're everywhere.
So Brad, obviously the website, right? BLM.government.
Yep, that's a great place to start. We have an online corral where you can go look at horses. We have lots of events, so we have events all over the country. And of course, I'm always going to plug the Mantle Ranch. You don't have to wait for an event like this. You can adopt horses from the Mantles at any point. Please contact them. Nobody does it better than these folks right here.
Good to know, good to know. So you don't have to wait for an adoption auction. You can reach out. And what's the website, or what's the best way to reach you, Steve?
Mantle's Wild Horses on Facebook. We
Okay.
use that a lot. Or you can just email me at mantle711@gmail.com.
So mantle711@gmail.com is how you reach him. Or on the Facebook page, I'm sure there's lots of amazing photos of these amazing horses.
Videos there too.
Well, I really appreciate you taking a minute. I appreciate your heart and your passion behind this. So many of us in horses don't do it for the money. We do it because we believe in it and we want to do right by these horses and we want them to have partnerships. What's one thing you've seen maybe as a common thread of someone who maybe shouldn't adopt a Mustang? I think you talked about it with not just leaving them alone.
Right. Sometimes people get in over their head. They get something adopted and their abilities are not maybe as good as they thought they were. And so then you end up with a horse that suffers. They suffer. Nobody wins. But I've also seen people that don't have the ability to do that, but they have the ability to go ask for help, and they make it.
Being teachable, being
Yeah,
trainable.
just throw the ego away and
Right.
enjoy the horses. Like what I do is work with horses. If you ask me to sit down and do your books, you're going to have a
I couldn't agree more. We would lose our electricity if it was up to me to pay the bills because my husband takes care of all that. I'm not a writer, I'm a video gal. So there's certain things that we all have in our strengths, right? Where do you think some of the best training tools are located if they can't get a hold of you, Steve, to train their horse? And
there's lots of good stuff out there. Like I use Buck Brannaman's 7 clinics in 7 weeks. I use Brian Newbert's wild horse handling video, his first week video. We got hooked up with Brian Newbert years ago and have become really good friends with him, and his method just fit for me. But I go to his clinics when I can. I go to Buck Brannaman's clinics when I can, and you just keep learning. My dad used to always say, is that you don't want to be the red tomato because the next stage is rotten. He said, I'd rather be the green tomato.
really good point. How about you, Brad? What are some of the most successful BLM adoption programs around the country if they can't come to Steve in Wyoming?
The Honor Farm has a great program up there. Steve even talks about how good they work with the burros at the Honor Farm. So that's the prison. That's a great partnership between the BLM and the Wyoming Department of Corrections. And they do great work up there too. But those are the two that I'm aware of because I work right here in Wyoming. So if it's not the Mantles, it's the Honor Farm up there. A lot of these folks have, great experiences with these horses because they've been gentled and started, and they've been gentled and started the right way. So they got that good foundation on them.
And that makes a whole lot of sense if you're new to adopting a Mustang to at least start with one that's had a really great confidence building partnership start. These probably are a little bit like part of your family and now you're having to set them free. So, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate it
All
so
right,
much.
yep,
Thank
thanks.
you.
The adopter should be able to catch the animal, lead the animal, load in a trailer, unload, brush the horse, pick up all 4 feet, should be able to lead and handle the horse. We have 10 saddle started green broke horse. Their age is 2 to 5. They're adult horses. They've had around 60 days of training. They've had the month-long genitling. They've had halter training, and then they've had 15 to 20 rides. So it's imperative that these horses maintain their training when you get home. Steve just mentioned a few minutes ago that the best thing to do is take them home. This has been a stressful week on them. Take them home, start over from ground one, start over like they're untouched, start over like they haven't been rode. And then you'll be just amazed at how well it goes. But take them home, give them a few days, and then start over with them. This has been a stressful week. They've had people all around them. They've been in little pens. We've had air shows every day or big planes flying over. They might be a little bit skittish today. They've never seen a crowd this big, and we usually have some loud motorcycles and some noise from the street. So it might affect them a little bit today. And the Mantles have done an excellent job gentling these horses. The Wyoming horses are unique. They're thought to have more draft influence in them, so it's usually a bigger, stouter horse. They're usually sought after for that. There's a lot of police and border patrol units that really like the bigger horse, and they come to Wyoming and they want these Wyoming horses for their needs. All of these animals are up to date on all vaccinations and dewormings. They all come with a negative Coggins. If you're taking these animals out of state, we have a veterinarian here who's going to write a health certificate for you. We also have a brand inspection on these animals. So these animals were gathered, prepped in a BLM facility, then sent to a training environment and brought here. We recommend that you quarantine these animals when you get home. So don't take them straight home and put them with your $50,000 barrel horse. Quarantine them like you would any new horse. You can quarantine from 14 to 30 days, but make sure you quarantine them. Everyone that's adopting has filled out an application, said you're at least 18 years of age and have a proper corral to put the animals in. Once the animal is used to you and you can handle the animal and you're comfortable with it, you can put it in your pasture. And the last two things are kind of the big things. The adopter will sign a private maintenance and care agreement with the federal government today, and they're going to say that they're going to take care of this animal. We'll come out and do a compliance check in the first 6 months, make sure you still have the animal, it's not being mistreated. And then you'll receive an application for title in the mail. You'll need to have a veterinarian sign off on it saying they've seen the animal in good care, mail it in to us, and then we'll mail you a title. You cannot sell or give these animals away until you have your title in hand. It's like a car title. And that should come straight to your mailing address 12 months from now. So it should be titled July of 2023. Folks, if you have any questions, please let us know. And now we'll get started with Scarlet. Scarlet is a 3-year-old saddle-started pinto from the Green Mountain Herd Management Area. She has around 60 days of gentling groundwork with 20 to 30 saddle rides. So someone, whenever they get home, let her have a few days, and then you need to continue her training every single week. Her herd management area is known to have brown bay and Trebbiano pinto gelding. They're known to be very athletic. They're a favorite among extreme Mustang makeover trainers. She'll go in any direction.
Alrighty, very good. How about $1,000 bid? Would have bid $1,000? I'd take $1,000 bid. Would you bid 1,000? I need 1,000. Would you bid 1,000? Would you bid 1,000? Are you bidding, ma'am? You're just pulling your hair? Okay. All right.